Okay, hi. I had a little bit of connectivity issues, but I'm now in, and so I just wanted to say hi to you guys. I am working on this setup today. Let's see, I'm going to try to get as good of a spot as possible, which hi, Melissa. And it looks like 2 others have joined too. So thank you guys for being here. Let's see, there we go. I am looking forward to today. We're going to have a good day with this Instagram Live. This is a continuation of my class that I'm doing through the Arts of Great Falls. It is, and this week we are painting dandelions, which I absolutely love painting, guys. So I'm so excited to be getting to work in that. Hi, Anne. I'm so glad you're here. Hi, all. Hi, Elamindra and Crystal. Thank you for being here. So this is a 1-hour extra painting demonstration that I give my students that are part of my online class that I'm teaching through the Arts of Great Falls. It's called, I think, Floral Still Life, Florals with Oils. And that's what we're doing. Every week we paint a floral painting. I am an avid gardener, so I always am painting. I've got lots of flowers going on at the same time. And yeah, so just really good. Hi, Bob. Hi, Nancy. Oh, hey, Miriam. I recognize your last name. Happy to see you. So I'm switching over to a mic right now. And so if y'all, once I get plugged in, I want to make sure that the sound is the best it can be. So one moment, guys. Let me switch to a mic. Okay, you please give me a thumbs up and tell me whether or not you can hear me. Sometimes the mic doesn't like it when I plug it in after I've started the Instagram Live. But if you could give me a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. Otherwise, I will unplug it, but then that will mean that sound quality will not be as good. Got some hearts. Hear you. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get going. So So I want to work so the reality is when you're painting with oils, there is always a level of discipline that you have to incorporate and plan for. Because the truth is sometimes you have to dig deep into the value of a piece in order to and hey guys, thanks for the thumbs up. I'm so glad you guys can hear me. I need to be I want to be disciplined. I want my painting to express to the best capability that I think I'm capable of doing. So one of the things is, even though I absolutely love painting what I'm painting, I also have to make sure that I am also painting where I'm thinking about my edge quality, where I'm thinking about how things go together. And I kind of want to build everything up to a good, stable setup. And so because of that, sometimes I have to think about things a little bit too dark. To a level that, maybe that means I sometimes need to think about my back areas more. I need to spend just a little bit more time setting up, I like to call it setting up the shot, which that's my term. But I learned last year that there's actually a true formal term for it, and it's called couching. It's a French term, but I call it setting up the shot. So like what I'm doing is even though I have all these flowers that are in foreground, I have to actually be thinking about what's going on in the, like, further back. What's, like setting up the shot, making sure that everything that I want to paint has all of the adjacencies, all of the surrounding areas have the values, the depth that I need, the variety of tonality. What do I need to make sure I have enough of? So, and that means I need to get my stems in. I need to start. So I've got all my big shapes in. And as an artist, you do have to be, you have to think about your big shapes first. But once I've got my big shapes in, I can't just start going, I can't immediately dive into the details as much as I might want to. I have to, like, essentially set up the shot, build up the surrounding areas in a way that supports the painting, the design. And so that's where I'm at right now. I need to start like setting up the shot, or to couch the setup. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm in the process of starting to do that and really enjoying. And if you've seen my work, I like detail. So in fact, actually, this is my favorite part of a painting. It also happens to be kind of the longest stage of a painting too. And you're working the longest in getting this section of the painting established. But boy, is it worth it in my opinion. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for being here. There's a nice big crew showing up today, which I appreciate. So I am having a lot of fun with this today. So every week for my Great Falls class, we do a new, well, almost every week. Sometimes if we have a pretty complex setup, we'll revisit it for 2 weeks. But as a whole, we do a new setup every week. I provide the photo references, and then I also do demonstrations like what I'm doing right now, and we paint. We paint very fun floral still lifes every week, and it's so much fun. There's so much, with painting there's always, and with flowers there's so much to always paint. So I just really love it. And this painting in particular of the dandelions it's one of my favorite subject matters. I absolutely love painting dandelions. So I'm thinking let's see, like there. So I'm working back. I'm looking, I'm working into the depth of my floral setups of this setup, and I know that I'm gonna and I'm just having fun in trying to find my shapes and get to what needs to be done. Okay, I need to get to. So I'm working back to front right now, and thinking about my edge quality, thinking about what I want to accomplish, how I want to do it. I'm thinking about my values and all that fun stuff. Okay, so I'm getting so one of the reasons, I need to be working on my edges. Okay, I like how that's going. Okay, I want to kind of make some of the background just a little bit more Interesting. Oh goodness, that's great. So there we go. Like, I really love how that just went down. I love that softness of that edge. Okay, so I need to start working on my stems. Okay, now I am working from photo reference because in my online class, I do work from photo reference, but I often work from life as well. And one of the fun things, like, I love painting dandelions, but dandelions are in full bloom literally for 24 hours. And then they close up, and then they close up overnight for, I think they close up for like 24 hours. So they open up in the morning and become totally wide. And then as the day progresses, so like in the morning, they start to open up. And then as the day progresses, they become a little bit more and more open until they're at their zenith of openness at about like 3-4 in the afternoon. And like, even if they're inside and they're not exposed to sunlight, it's like they have their own circadian rhythm. And they, at about 4 or 5, they actually start to close up on you. And then they will close up on you, dandelions will, and then they stay closed for 24 hours. And then they open up into like the puff balls in the next day. So and they slowly open up in the morning, and then they become puff balls like by midday. So dandelions are only open, they're bright yellow openness for 1 day of the year. They are great pollinators, like honeybees really love them, but they do not stay open for very long. And so when you paint them from life, you are constantly kind of racing against time. So you have to plan accordingly, so that way you can get your painting in the way you want it to. There we go. Oh, I love how that's looking. Okay, so so I want to do a stem. I'm going to start working on some of the stems. And this is catching the light. I'm painting wet and wet, so I started to pick up color. I wiped that off with on my rag, and then I proceed to clean, get fresh on my brush. And then as it comes down, let's see, it comes through here, it gets a little bit darker, and then that's the stems right there too. So So it's all about that hint. And so, and some of these stems are very pale. That's what makes dandelions, in my opinion, so visually interesting. Some of their stems are super, super pale, and they practically glow. So I want to capture that to an extent. So that guy goes back, and then I need to, I'm kind of jumping around a bit, but it's like I want to capture certain things. So I want to capture that. Okay. Capture that, and then there's a stem. Actually, there's the stem right here. Let's get that guy in, and then there's some stems that go down. Okay, it's nice. So I've got this guy. There's a slight value difference. He's further back, so I'm going to put that in. And then he's in shadow right there, so I'll get that in. And then there's a stem right there. And it's right there. And there's a stem right here. I need to get that in. Okay, and then I've got right here, and I want it to come down. So every time I'm picking up any background paint or whatever, I'm cleaning my brush off with my rag first, and then I go and like refill my paint supplies. So and then if, for example, it just feels like that became too streaky, I don't like that. So I'll go back and I'll cut across it, because when you paint across the contour, you have it tends to be a bit more. It feels more three-dimensional. So I like doing that. Okay, so, and then there's some light stems. Lots and lots of light stems at the bottom of yeah. Okay, so I'm really liking how this is coming together. There's going to be a light stem there, some stems there. Now you don't want it to be too there's a lot going on, so there is a bit of chaos, but I'm going to try to limit some of the stem chaos, so to speak, so that way I can focus on what needs to be dealt with more. But I'm really liking how that's working out already. So now it's time to work a little bit more. Where do I want to start? that's nice. Okay. And then got something going on there, something there. I've got a couple more. Okay. So okay, so great. This is starting to come together and looking real good. So I'm going to get a couple more. And then right here, this guy, I need to get him in. And then it's the there's a lot of stems right here on this over here. So like I'm always working back to front. So I'm like at this point, at this juncture in this painting, I'm really trying to think about like what are, you know, where are things? Like where are like the things that I want to paint are in the foreground. So that means everything that is behind those foreground objects, I need to make time and take attention to make them grow, or not grow. Yeah, in a way, make them grow. I thought initially that was the incorrect idea, but it's like I want them to, like I want to start building from the back to the foreground, the shapes that will make them feel like they come to life on the canvas. So in a way that is kind of growing, that it's a mental growth that I want them to do. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so one thing I just noticed is that I need to do something about the background in one spot. I will do that right here. Flip over. I don't want to be carrying too much stuff. Okay, so it's already starting to come together. Look at that. That's starting to look like dandelions. Okay, so now it's time for me to shift. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I've been using a number 3. I'm going to switch to a number 2, extra long filbert. I don't need to go probably any smaller than that, but I am going to go there. And what I'm going to do is I want to start building back to front, and I'm going to start here because these guys, the stems go behind this group, and then this group is behind that group. Now, and then like that stem is down there, so I'm actually might soften that just a bit. And then like we've got these guys, so if I want to, I could probably go like here, but those guys are important, so I'm going to hold these 2 flowers off until I get other areas. So like I have a couple of important flowers that I want to make sure I give enough mental time to, and so because of that, I even will like kind of control how I go about like my process of painting in the setup. So I think I'm gonna work. I'll start there. Let's get some of that going on. So we've got a mixture of Cad Jello Deep with just a wee bit of cadmium orange into it, so it makes it just a little bit more orangey. And I'm back to front, so I'm going to be working back first. then it goes very yellow very fast. So I need to get away from this golden yellow and start switching out. Before I go into my cadmium lemon or I start mixing white into my yellows, I try to go with the straight colors first. So I'm using a cadmium yellow medium value. And what I want to do is I want to get clean my brush if I pick up anything. I don't want to turn my paint puddle muddy or like dirty. This one's got a long. Clean my brush. And then, okay, so now I'm going to deal with the foreground flower. And we've got, it comes down, got a couple of, clean my brush, reload. So your rags get really, really dirty when you're painting with cad lemon. So I'm going to have to be changing, I'm going to have to change my rag out really soon because it's already starting to get pretty dirty. So yeah, when I start getting paint all over my brush, that tells me my rag is getting too dirty. So new rag. Squeeze out. Okay, so that's working pretty good. So now it's time for me to work with let's move down a bit. So I've got over here, I've got some, oh, I need to get my background, do some stuff with my background a bit. Need to make that a bit smaller. So okay. Flip over. Okay. And my brush, have to mix a bigger background color puddle. So because of the yellow flowers, I'm purposely making my background just a wee bit purple. It's not like purple, but I'm like hinting at it. And that's because purple is the color complement of yellow. And so then that means I get to play with some like color vibrations. And that's something I really like doing. So, okay, so I'm thinking, flip it over. There. Okay. So now I got to clean my brush. Move forward. I also got to squeeze out some more cadmium yellow because I just used it up. Okay. Now by coincidence, what I noticed too is like the green over here, there's a couple of flowers, so I'm gonna need to go, that might be not dark enough, dang it. So I'm gonna have to you always want to be looking at the value too of what you're mixing. So if, for example, it needs to be darker or lighter in value, look for that. Make sure that you are investigating that. One of the things I'm a big believer in is that there's no such thing as a muddy color. But a muddy, when we say we have a muddy color, that's just because we don't want to take it's my thought, we don't want to take the time to think about, well, what's wrong with that color location. So like, is it by any chance, does it need to be more warm? Like, so I always ask myself, do I have the right local color? And if I have the right local color, like, so say it needs to be yellow, but then it's the wrong color, like, so then I immediately ask myself, is it the right color value? Like, is the color, if I squint my eyes or took a black and white photo of it, would it be accurate in its in the way the value of it? And if it's not, then then I look at how do I need to adjust it for value to make it either lighter or darker. And then if it needs to be adjusted value wise, then I ask myself, where does it shift to? Is there a difference in color temperature that I need to be aware of? And if so, that is, I adjust that. So there's like several, local color value, and then color temperature. And also there's 4 characteristics. Color saturation. So like, is it a very bright colored yellow, or is it kind of been grayed, or is it green? Is it a green yellow? So I always ask myself about the color saturation as well. Those are all very important indicators that help you decide how your painting is going, how your color, how your decisions, your color mixing decisions are going, because all 4 of those are crucial. Okay. There's a little bit more. I don't want to do too much. So now the thing about painting dandelions too, I could pin cushion each one of these guys, but the thing is, I have to be constantly aware of also that not every petal needs to be painted. So I also want to be careful about that. So I'm trying not to paint every brush stroke, every petal. I want to create a sense of unity in my painting too. So that means being, trying to be aware of how things work. So I am, exploring and having fun with, okay, so the thing is, I love painting every brush stroke. That is a bit of my personal temperament, but it doesn't always behoove me to do that. And also it doesn't, when I say that, it doesn't behoove the painting. Like, ultimately, my goal is for my painting to be good. So even though I personally might want to paint every brush stroke, it may not make be the best decision for my painting. So I always also am always trying to balance between the decisions of my painting for my for the how things work together. So there we go. Oh, so pretty. There we go. I'm really loving how this is going together. So there we go. Let's see what that does. Then I need to get a couple of blue marks. Some darker value shifts. Actually, I need to actually darken that whole thing. Yeah. Gotten too light. This whole flower is too light, unfortunately. Shucks. I've gotten it too okay. That helps me find also some color notes over here that I had gotten maybe too light. There we go. Let's get and then, like, so when I'm noticing is that I want to go, so now I've got a pile of just cadmium lemon yellow. So that's my lightest value lemon yellow, but it's still an extremely saturated yellow. So now there's a couple of things that I want to get in and heighten. So I'm going to get that in. Got a fully loaded brush, so I can be working wet and wet in a way that really enables some really wonderful color notes. Yep, so there we go. So that's working out. More cad lemon. I want right there. Okay, so I am having a really good time, and you know, I haven't even been looking at the screen, guys. I'm sorry if any of you guys have asked me a question. Let me look real quick. Nope. But geez, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you all being checked in, and just know how much I do appreciate that. So for the new people who've joined over recently, thank you for being here. So I am an artist who teaches floral painting classes online through the Arts of Great Falls here in Great Falls, Virginia, but I paint online, and so anyone can attend the class if they so choose, and I welcome you to come. And because it's online, what I do is I try to spend as much of my time in class supporting my students, and then but because we all love watching a good painting demonstration, I provide an extra perk, so to speak, for the class, in that I do an additional painting demonstration on Instagram, and that's what I'm doing right now. And so every Wednesday, while I'm teaching class, I'm also doing these Instagram lives, and we are in the 5th class of this term so far, and it's been a really good term. We have covered all sorts of spring flowers, including these dandelions, and I just love painting dandelions. So, okay, so now so let's see. So I'm like, okay, so now I need to find in relation. So I triangulate. So then I go, okay, so in relationship, this flower has a flower petal that starts here and goes this way. So then I put that in. And what I'm noticing is that I need to work a little bit on the background. There's a couple of dark greens that I haven't accounted for, some dark spaces. So I need to get some of those in. Okay, and then I love painting dandelions, guys. They are so fun and so cheerful and so yellow. They have like all the things. Like, I really love painting yellow flowers. Yellow flowers can be a bit of a challenge, but they're just so cheerful and fun and bright that I can't help but want to paint them sometimes. Okay. Hi, Layla. I'm glad you joined us today. I hope things are going well for you. So, painting dandelions. Now, like I said, not every flower needs to be painted 100%. So I'm purposely kind of leaving that one a little bit more, it's good without being like crazy. And what I want to do is, that guy has quite a bit of, it's in shadow. There's a little bit of golden, so I can get too much because he's in shadow. But then this guy, he's in partial shadow, and then he's catching quite a bit of light. So I want to capture some of that fuzziness. And like that. That which goes like that. Oh, nice. If I do so say so myself. So, and then I've got yellow that's in shadow. So I can't. And so I need to make sure that I'm not over lightening, because it needs to be in shadow, but it still needs to look yellow. So it's always that fine line between like how dark do you make it, how light, but I think that's working pretty good. So there we go. Just a little bit. There's some darker shapes in there. I'm going to get, there we go, just like I did there. And then we have so when I was a kid, I used to be so fascinated with dandelions. I had a pretty laissez-faire grandmother at times, and she didn't mind if we blew dandelion puffs in her yard, which, like, thank goodness for that. And because of that, my daughter Naomi's allowed to do the same thing in my yard too, because I like dandelions and everything. But what I used to be surprised about is how underneath the flower petals would be these like green and like dark green, pale green, like stripy things that I was always very fascinated by the variegation and the variety of color that could be found in a dandelion. The golds, and then the bright greens, the very white creams that are, they're so white that they practically don't have a color to them, but they do. They're white, but they have like a green undertone or a yellow undertone or a pink undertone. I always was so fascinated by that, by nature and how things shifted. And so it's one of the treats I feel is that I get to paint these things that I used to sit and look at as a kid. I was never a scientist. Like, my daughter always wonders why, where I just was fascinated with it and like how it looked and how the different patterns made me feel. I was a lot more interested in that. And there we go. Okay, so now okay. So I'm just slowly making my way down this painting. Thank you, Sanchi. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Yes, this is super fun. Let's see. Okay, so I got rid of this flower, so now I need to put them back in. And this guy, I need to get more yellow. golden yellow going. And I'm looking at the time. My time's almost up, but I'm gonna keep playing. I set a timer, so when the timer goes off, that's when it's truly time for me to stop. But until that time, we'll just keep painting. And yep, there it goes. There's my timer. So yep, so this is how I paint dandelions. I slowly but surely work my way towards the completion of them. To me, they are so fun to paint, and we have so much, they have so much variety. I think I want to add a little bit more oomph there. There we go. Yeah, I just love these guys, and I'm so thankful for you guys to be here. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys have a really good afternoon. And thank you. I just want to say that. And for any of you who are not one of my students, please visit my website and check out my classes. I will be teaching 2 classes this summer. This floral class on Wednesdays starting July 14th, and then on Tuesdays, July 13th, I'm doing a Colors Essentials class, which I'm really looking forward to. It will be a combination of color exercises that are like direct color exercises, analyzing, creating color wheels, doing mixing charts, but we also will be doing other exercises where we will be exploring the influence of warm colors versus cool color palettes. And yeah, so please check out my website, and I look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be here next week, Wednesday, because that's my last class for the spring term for this floral class. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.